Hey everyone, number 26 on my list of 100 greatest songs of all time is Tusk by Fleetwood Mac. Fleetwood Mac had released Rumours, an album which, is widely considered one of the greatest of all time, and was quite difficult for them to record due to the, strains, relationship strains in the band, and how some of those songs were about those relationships. And well, most of them are actually. And so they decided, a couple of years after, to subvert the whole idea of what they were doing before. And Lindsey Buckingham, the guitarist and singer-songwriter, he kind of took the reins with the double album Tusk. It's a great album, by the way. It does get overshadowed by Rumours, and some people would say about Tango in the Night as well. But Tusk is an incredible album. I'm very lucky to have it on vinyl. I got it at some second-hand record fair, and I remember hearing the title track as this. It is weird. Tusk is a weird song because it's a lot of drums. There's a lot of stuff happening in the drums. There's drums and they're playing all sorts of things, Kleenex boxes and all mad percussive sounds. There's lots of shouting in the background, including some curse words in Spanish and things like that. Lindsey Buckingham's vocals are quite intense, and there's roars and there's wolf-like howls, and there's the constant refrain of Tusk, them shouting Tusk over in the background. There's the riff like din 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 din, and that was worked off a riff they'd been playing in sound checks, and they kind of said we'll come back to it, and then they abandoned the idea, and then Lindsey Buckingham started working on it again. He brought it to Christine McVie, and she started helping with the chord progressions on it and stuff, and that's how it kind of came about. And she plays the kind of accordion on it, and they had the USC marching band play on it with the horn section, the brass, and there's so much going on in the song. And I like to think of it as, what would it sound like if Lindsey Buckingham just decided to play it with acoustic guitar, and I think it would sound great. But it is a lot of stuff, and I like the funkiness of the, if I can remember what the bass line is, it's like in the chorus, it's that's just going along with the riff I was saying. And I love that how locked in Mick Fleetwood and John McVie are. They're incredible together as a bass and drummer, and they're always so, like, you see them in the live. There's a great version of this from 1997. I think it's in Boston, but if you type in Fleetwood Mac Tusk live, it'll be the first one that comes up, and the USC marching band comes out and they play all together. I love that the connection that they have, the I suppose the no eye contact connection, but John McVie sounds quite close to the drummer, and I think they said that in another video. I love when a bass player sounds close to the drummer and he's locked in on what's happening. And it is mixed. It obviously is a band effort because they've been working on the riff and stuff, but I do think as a whole the album is Lindsey Buckingham's baby, and even what he's doing in here, he's driving it forward. He's adding kind of these weird sounds, and he wants it to be kind of busy. He doesn't want it to sound like the kind of, the California pop sound of Rumours. He wants it to be kind of dark, and almost like, if you could think of it, the two albums being related to each other. Rumours is the breakup album, and Tusk is the album where you are after the breakup, in that kind of dark place. And I get I get the feeling of that's what's happening, because it is quite claustrophobic, certain parts of the song, and that kind of roaring and shouting, and it sounds like a freedom to kind of let loose, the screams of pain almost from Lindsey Buckingham's vocals. And the Tusk part doesn't, I was reading up about it, and I want to see why they called it Tusk. And apparently it doesn't really mean anything. It wasn't like, an impulse or anything like that. But it just turned out that Mick Fleetwood was just walking around saying Tusk over and over again, and that's made it into the song. There's when the repeat refrain of Tusk. When a band hits on a good riff, like obviously what I just played is the bass part, but then you've got the accordion part where Christine McVie plays, or the squeeze box or whatever, and Lindsay Buckingham is playing the guitar part to it. When it locks in and it's a good riff, you can kind of stay on it for days. Like, it just feels like that sometimes, like you're surfing on something, you know, certain on a musical kind of wave where you can stay, you're happy to stay on it. And I get that with Tusk, and I think it ends too soon, and you know it could go on a bit longer. There's this kind of manic breakdown in the middle of the song. The song is in 4/4, but it actually goes to this time signature of 3/4 in the breakdown, whereas it allows Mick Fleetwood to go on a mad one basically. And he's a really good drummer, obviously, Mick Fleetwood, but he kind of is let loose to do what he wants to do. And what's cool about that, they couldn't have known this obviously, but in the live version I was talking about, while he's doing that little solo piece, it gives the time for the USC marching band to make their way up on the stage, and there's the brass section, and then there's also the drum section, like there is in any marching band. There's the big bass drums with the massive, you know, drumsticks and things like that. It's a kind of it's a demented kind of part of the song, almost like the coming apart of the lead singer. It reminds me of certain parts of The Wall where Roger Waters' character, obviously he's playing a character in that, Pink, he starts to come apart and he vocalizes it. Well, in Tusk, it's like the Lindsay Buckingham's idea is to allow the drums to vocalize what he's feeling or how his head is and what's bopping around up there and stuff. And it came out as a single. It came out as the first single off the album, and it's a weird choice for a single, but I don't think Tusk as an album is one that has many obvious standout singles. But it did quite well. It got to number 8 in the US, it got to number 6 in the United Kingdom, and you know, top 10 in other big countries. But even that on the back of it is kind of mad. But I guess it's to do with the rumors thing, you know, like where are they going to go next, and you kind of grab onto a band and see what's happening down the line, and he wanted to subvert opinions even, and he did, and it's kind of, like I said, it's fairly overlooked as an album now, and I shouldn't really be talking about an album again. I was on the last video when I was doing the Beach Boys, but you know, it all applies, and I think especially as a lead single, this is Fleetwood Mac saying, like, this is the direction we're going in now. You're either with us or you're not. You're not going to have your you know, go your own way and those kind of songs, and it's important that a band does that. Like, I think, you know, everybody thinks that, but like, it shouldn't just stay in your lane, because it gets tired and it gets tedious, and if people don't want to hang on because they think, oh, it's not what I was listening to, and this is not what I wanted from this band, that's fine, but you'll get other people in. And I like how by taking the reins, Lindsay Buckingham kind of went, we'll see what happens and we'll go with it. So yeah, Tusk by Fleetwood Mac. Thanks, bye.